Hello and welcome to day 14 of our 30-day yoga challenge. So we're just going to start off in a nice easy seated position, and again just connecting with your breath, getting into that 3-point breath, breathing in through the belly, holding the breath up at the top and breathing out with control, feeling the belly button contract into the spine, really connecting with the breath, avoiding all distractions. Breathing in and breathing out. As we breathe in, we're just going to bring the arms up overhead, palms touch, bringing the palm down to the third eye, to the lips, and then down to the heart center, bowing your head to seal in your intention for today. Now we're just going to start off by making some nice circles with the neck, just gently feeling around any crunchy bits, just letting it go one way and then the other, keeping nice control so we're not letting the head flop about. Just breathing deeply into our poses, just warming up. So we're just going to bring the fingertips towards the shoulders. We're just going to make little circles, making them bigger and bigger each time we go around with the elbows, going one way and then the other, really getting into our shoulders today. Breathing in deeply, opening the arms out to a wingspan, and then we're just going to clasp the hands behind the back. And again, we're just going to roll the head around, seeing how that feels, really feeling a nice stretch across the chest, across the shoulder blades, breathing deep. So breathing in here, we're going to open up our wingspan and we're going to either cross the hands over the chest like so, or we're going to bring our hands into eagle arms. As we spread our wings, we're then going to bring the right elbow underneath the left elbow, clasping the hands where we can into our eagle arms. Breathing in to lift those elbows up. We're just going to hold it here for a moment before taking a nice deep in-breath as we give ourselves a little back bend, any amount, sending the elbows up towards the sky. Breathing deeply here into this pose. And breathing out as we fold forwards, feeling a nice stretch across the shoulder blades, across the upper back. Breathing deep here. See if you can get any lower. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in, coming back into our seated and just holding here but not holding the breath before releasing, and let's go the other side. So this time we're going to be placing the left elbow underneath the right elbow, holding here but making sure we keep that breath going. As we breathe in, we're going to lift the elbows up towards the sky, giving ourselves a nice back bend. Breathing deeply into this pose. And as we breathe out, we're going to fold forward, really feeling again that stretch across the shoulder blades. Breathing in and breathing out, seeing again if we can get any lower when we create that space. Breathing in to come back into our seated. Again, just nice deep breaths here. And release. Just touching the fingertips towards the earth, just rolling the shoulders out. They feel like they need it. Maybe give the head a little roll. Breathing in and breathing out. So I'm just going to come over into our all fours, into our tabletop position. Again, just getting your alignment right. So just feeling the shoulders over the wrists, the hips over the knees. We're going to extend that right leg back And we're just going to see if we can then maybe extend the left arm too, pointing straight. This may not feel available to you as well, so you can keep either your hand down or your foot down, whichever feels best. Maybe we can stretch back, maybe we can grab hold of that foot, giving ourselves a nice quad stretch as well. Breathing deeply into this pose. And releasing back out. And breathing out as we return to our tabletop. Let's go again the other side. Maybe give those wrists a little bit of a shake out first. So just getting ourselves set up, bringing the left foot back, toes pointing towards the floor, and then maybe we can bring that right arm up, just keeping everything nice and straight where possible. Just seeing how this feels. And again, you may wish to grab hold of that back foot, giving ourselves a nice quad stretch on this side as well. Breathing deeply here. Again, not mandatory, it just might feel good for you today, who knows. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing out to release back into our stretch. And then breathing out as we return back to our all fours, our tabletop position. Maybe give the hips a little bit of a shake. Maybe we just do a couple of cat-cows, see how that feels. So again, any variation that you like. So if you want to get some fluidity in there, or maybe you just like to stay static. I think I really wanted to feel those shoulder blades open and close here. So I was really working into that part, just feeling the shoulder blades go up and down the back, really trying to isolate those muscles. We're also just going to send some love into those wrists. So we're just pointing the fingertips towards the long end of the mat. And we're just going to see if we can take any movements here. So maybe making some circles, just applying a little bit of a stretch towards the wrists. They don't get enough love, but we do put a lot of strain on our wrists. So maybe making some little circles. Maybe we're bringing the weight forwards or backwards, seeing how that feels. Can be quite uncomfortable and it gets worse. So here we are, just flipping the wrists. So the fingertips are pointing towards the knees, and again, applying any kind of pressure that you can. So some people can literally sit back here. I can't in this pose. My hyperextended arms would never allow me to. So again, just feeling how it feels for you. So just applying any kind of pressure that feels good, and then release, bringing the fingertips to point forward. And then we're just going to flip the hands over, and again, applying any kind of pressure that feels okay for you. Again, some people can sit right back to their knees. You can see here, I've barely moved. So just doing what feels good. And release. That's enough of that. Tuck those toes, lift those hip bones. Let's get into our downward facing dog. So just going to stretch out the neck as well, giving the head a shake, any nod, yes and no, maybe coming up onto those toes, just seeing any little stretch that we might like. So breathing in, we're just going to walk to the top of the mat, walking the feet towards the hands, the heart is up. And breathing out as we bend forward, the heart is down. Breathing in, we're just going to come into our Utkatasana, just coming into our chair pose. So the knees are bent and we're tucking that tailbone in, biceps up by the arms. Just holding here for a moment before sending the weight forward, flat back, bringing the arms behind us, straightening those legs out. We're going to do a few of these, so just keeping at your pace. Breathing in, back into our chair pose. Holding here for a moment before we breathe out, and we're coming back into our fold. Just a halfway lift here, so we're not fully folding. Breathing in back into our chair pose. And this time as we release, we're going to clasp the hands behind the back, and we are going to come into a bit of a forward fold here. Really working into those shoulders, seeing if we can get a little bit lower, a little bit more momentum with our fold. Breathing in here. Don't forget to bend those knees as well, if that helps you to get a little bit more of a stretch. Breathing in to bring ourselves back up, arms up. Breathing out as we're just going to give ourselves a little bit of a side body stretch over towards the right. Breathing in to come back to center, and breathing as we bend over towards the left, keeping the feet exactly where they are, looking over that right shoulder. Breathing in back to center, and breathing out as we clasp those hands behind the back. I'm going to bend forward again, see if we can get any more movement in this pose. Breathing in to come back towards our standing, palms to center, Samasthiti. Breathing in, bringing that left foot up. We're just going to step back into our crescent lunge, bringing the biceps up by the ears. Back leg is nice and straight and strong, giving ourselves a little bend in that right knee. Breathing deeply in all of our poses. And we're just going to take a nice deep exhale as we come down into our Skadasana on that right side. So just bending into that right knee, flipping the left toes towards the sky, trying to keep a nice straight leg. Don't worry if your heels don't reach the floor, mine don't either. I'm going to come down into our Pasarita, into our forward fold, breathing in flat back, breathing out to move into that space, releasing the head. Nice deep breaths. See if we can get ourselves any lower. Planting the right hand, see if we can bring that left hand towards the sky. Seeing if we can look up towards those fingertips. Nice deep breaths. And release. Let's swap over to the other side. Left hand planted, right hand goes up towards the sky. Seeing again if we can look up towards that hand. Breathing deeply here. Nice strong legs, keeping the knees up the legs, up the thighs. And breathing out. Let's come back into our Skadasana on the other side. So the left knee is bent and keeping those toes pointed up on the right hand side. Nice straight leg. We're going to pivot around, framing the left foot and coming up into our crescent lunge on the left knee. Breathing in deeply here. So we should be facing the opposite side of the mat that we started on. Breathing in deep. Keep nice straight back leg. Coming into our side angle, we're going to bring the left forearm onto the left knee. Looking underneath that right shoulder. Going to be placing the hands around the front foot, runner's lunge. And let's get a nice deep bend into that knee, sending the right toes up towards the sky into our Skadasana. And then we can either walk ourselves through, or if you've got the momentum, you can get yourself up to center, the flat back, and then we're going to drop down Pasarita. Again, see if we can get any more space in this pose. Planting the right hand into the mat, let's bring our left arm up towards the sky, looking up towards that left hand. Again, keeping the knees up the thighs. See if we can get any more lift. So really pushing the mat away. And release. Let's swap sides, bringing the right hand up towards the sky, giving ourselves a nice side body stretch as well as a twist. Nice deep breaths. And release. Coming up flat back. And breathing out back into our Pasarita. Breathing in as we just kind of lean over again into that right leg, into our Skadasana. And again, see if we can keep those toes pointed towards the sky. Nice straight leg. Really feeling a stretch. Framing that front foot, coming into our runner's lunge. And then as we breathe in, we're going to be coming into our side angle on the right knee. So feeling the right forearm onto the right knee, looking over that left shoulder, nice straight line. Breathing deeply here into this pose. Coming up into a quick warrior two before we come into our crescent lunge. Really connecting our breath again. Looking up towards the sky maybe. And we're just going to step forward into our Samasthiti, top of the mat. Breathing in, we're just going to bring that left leg up. And as we bend backwards, we're just going to come into our crescent lunge, right leg forward. And from here, we're just going to send the weight forward. We're just going to get some nice dynamic movement here. Just sending the biceps up by the ears, and then we're taking flight, bringing the arms back. Breathing in, looking up, and breathing out to bring ourselves forward over that front leg, the knees bent, breathing in to come up, breathing out to create movement. Breathing in, arms up, and let's just see if we can now come into our tree pose. So the left foot is coming anywhere on that right side, on that right leg, just avoiding putting any pressure onto that right knee, and just holding here, finding your drishti, your point of focus, and sending all of your intentions towards that spot. Holding here. If it feels good, you may wish to bring your hands up over the head, really testing that concentration. Maybe you can even close your eyes, see how that feels. And breathing out to release. Let's do the same on the other side. So breathing in, lifting that leg up. I mess up here. We're actually supposed to step back into our crescent lunge. I realized my mistake in a moment. So just meeting me in your crescent lunge. Biceps up by the ears. And as we breathe out, leaning forward over that left knee. Keeping that dynamic movement, so on your own breath, breathing in to come up and breathing out to bend forwards. Breathing in to bring your back leg forward, and let's just stand that right foot onto the left leg anywhere it lands, except trying to avoid putting that pressure on the left knee. Deep breaths. And again, maybe you'd like to grow your branches, bringing the arms up overhead. Concentrating on any spot in front of you. Nice, deep, even breaths. And breathing out to release. Just giving your legs and your arms, maybe the shoulders a little bit of a shake. And just standing in our mountain pose for just a moment. Standing straight on that right leg, we're just going to bring the left toes in towards the groin, into our half lotus. We're just going to see if we can wrap that left hand around the back. And now eventually we'll be able to grab hold of that left foot with that left hand around the back. I'm not quite there yet, so you might be, you might not be, you might be a million miles away. It's okay, no judgments, just noticing and inviting the pose to come and meet you there one day. Really concentrating on that spot, keeping your balance, feeling all four corners of the feet into the mat. Everything's engaged. And release, taking care of your knee. And we'll do the same again on the other side. So shifting the weight into the left foot, where they're going to bring the right foot up in towards the groin, into a half lotus. Again, grabbing hold of it with that left hand and seeing if we can grab hold of the elbows. I'm almost there on this side. Some days I can do it, some days I can't. And again, I keep saying it, new day, new body. Just really finding your drishti again, just concentrating all of that effort into your standing leg, feeling your body in this pose. And exhale as we release. Bringing the arms up overhead, let's swan dive down into our forward fold. Breathing in to come up flat back. Breathing out to just lower down. Maybe we're grabbing hold of the toes here. So just maybe heel toeing out so the feet are hip distance apart. We're just going to take a nice forward fold, so bending deep into the elbows. The knees can be bent and bringing the belly over the thighs, or you can straighten those legs out. We're aiming to shift the weight towards the balls of the feet, and we're aiming to bring the crown of the head towards the floor, so avoiding trying to curl the back round, but just trying to keep a nice flat back. Breathing in and breathing out to create more space in this pose. Maybe you can also flip those hands and walk those feet over the hands and just see how this feels. You get more of a stretch this way, taking any movements that you like, maybe swaying back and forth or side to side. Breathing in as we release, and we're coming up flat back. Breathing out to forward fold before clasping the hands behind the back, flat back. Breathing out to bring those clasped hands over the head. See if we can get a nice deep bend into our shoulders, nice big stretch. Breathing in to release the hands towards the floor. We're going to place the right hand on the floor, bending into that right knee and bringing the left hand up towards the sky into a nice twist. You should be really feeling that on your left hamstrings here. Should feel a nice deep stretch. Breathing in deeply here as we release, and let's swap to the other side. Left hand down, left hand bends, left leg bends, looking up towards that right hand. Breathing deeply. And release. Giving the legs a little bit of a wiggle. Breathing in and breathing out. And again, maybe grabbing hold of those toes, just seeing if we can get any kind of movement. Breathing in to roll back up vertebrae by vertebrae, giving the shoulders a nice squiggle as we move up. And we're going to come down into our vinyasa, so jumping back, step back, lowering down chaturanga, your choice. Breathing in to come into a back bend of your choice. So I'm choosing to do a bit of an extended cobra. I really wanted to bend my knees here, so just alternating the feet towards the bottom and just seeing how this feels. Nice deep stretch into my quads. And breathing out to release. Placing the fingertips into the mat, and we're just going to spread the elbows towards the sky. We're just going to come into a cobra, but the hands are extended, and as we breathe out, we're just going to bring the shoulders from side to side like a leaf falling in the breeze. Going to do the same again. So as we breathe in, we're lifting up into our back bend, and as we breathe out, we're just swaying the shoulders from side to side like a leaf falling in the breeze. Bringing ourselves back to lying down, clasping the hands behind the back. And as we breathe in, we're going to bring the forehead off the floor, and maybe we can see if we can bring those feet off the floor. Maybe we can bring the hands towards the feet. Nice deep breaths here into the lower abdomen, keeping everything engaged. And release. We're just going to push back into our child's pose. Stretching out the shoulders, stretching out the armpits. I really wanted to get an extra stretch here as well, so I decided to clasp my hands into prayer position behind the head. Get a nice stretch into those armpits as well. Everything's stretched today. Breathing deeply into your version of child's pose. Then breathing in as we just come towards our back, so just lying down on the back, bring the knees into the chest, giving them a wiggle, and maybe just bringing the forehead towards the knees, releasing the lower back. And again, you might like to take eagle arm here or placing the hands either side of the shoulders. You might want to even take eagle legs, breathing in to bring everything together and breathing out as we bring the right knee down towards the left hand side. Really feeling a nice twist here, and the extra weight from both legs clasped together should be giving us a bit of an extra stretch. Breathing in to come back to center, maybe we give ourselves a little crunch, and then breathing out as we release, and let's twist on the other side. It's taking any variation of this that you prefer. Breathing in to bring ourselves up, and maybe we're doing a little crunch, and then we're going to send those left knees over to the right side. Really feeling a nice twist in the body here as well. Breathing deeply. Breathing in to come back to center, and we might like to give a little crunch again before releasing everything down and coming into our Shavasana. Really setting the body up for a nice, peaceful rest. Feeling every part of yourself just melting down into the ground. Feeling safe and secure with all the choices that you've made. Feeling at one with yourself and the world around you. Knowing that it's just you and your mat during this time. I'm just a guide. I'm here to support you. But ultimately, this is your practice that you're cultivating, finding your own path and your own way to find the center back to yourself. Just bringing awareness back to the body, wiggling the fingers and the toes, giving the head a little roll around the back of your mat. Just starting to bring that awareness back. Breathing in to clasp those fingers above the head, stretching out, making ourselves as long as possible. And then breathing out as we bring those knees towards the chest, making ourselves as small as possible. Nice deep breaths. And then from here, we're just going to roll over to the right hand side, connecting with the earth before taking a nice deep breath in as we come up into our easy seated position at the top of your mat, keeping the eyes gently closed throughout. From here, we're just going to rub the hands together very vigorously, create some heat. And when we've got enough heat going, we're just going to place the hands over the eyes. We're just going to blink the eyes open as we invite the light back in, and just giving our face a little bit of a rub, maybe into the scalp, maybe into our temples, and just thanking ourselves for taking this time out. Breathing in, bringing the arms up overhead, and breathing out to the third eye, the lips, and the heart. Namaste. Thank you for practicing with me.